Every Tuesday on the Happy Families podcast, we answer your tricky questions. Today, one that sent me very deep into a rabbit hole of what evidence is there and what evidence isn't there for how our kids are using their headphones and Bluetooth and radiation. And I'm not that kind of doctor, so this was fascinating. But if your kids are using headphones, if your kids are on screens, if your kids do any Bluetoothy, radiation, Wi-Fi sort of stuff, then you will want to hear Rose from Brisbane's question today. It's coming up next. Stay with us. G'day, this is the Happy Families podcast. Today, what do you do when your child will not listen to reason and you are trying to be so reasonable about having some limits around their use of headphones because you are concerned that their brain is going to be fried? Welcome to the Happy Families podcast, where you get real parenting solutions every single day. We are Australia's most downloaded parenting podcast. That's thanks to you. Thanks for listening. My name's Dr. Justin Coulson. I'm here with Mrs. Happy Families, my wife, Kylie. And every Tuesday on the Happy Families pod, we answer your tricky questions. Family and relationships and discipline and screens and sleep and fussy eating and you name it. We'll talk about anything. Finance, pocket money. We're pretty much happy to answer your questions. If you'd like to submit a tricky question, we've got a super simple system at happyfamilies.com.au. You literally just scroll down to the bit where it says press record. You click the button and start talking, just like Rose from Brisbane.
Hi, Justin and Kylie. Rose here from Brisbane. Love your podcast. I really like your thoughts regarding adolescents' significant use of Bluetooth devices, from gaming headsets, speaker boxes, and worse, AirPods. I'm concerned it's frying my 15-year-old son's brain, with research flagging high levels of radiation going direct to the brain. I have tried collaborative problem solving, negotiating, modeling replacements, and having open discussions on what research suggests. His response: I don't care what research says, I'll be fine. He pushes the boundary of leaving them at home, refuses to wear corded headphones, but respects the boundary of putting his phone away by 8 p.m., 11 p.m. weekends. For context, he's a loving, respectful teenager, is active, and has great empathy, but simply sees this as an unnecessary worry. Is he right, or is my concern valid?
Oh, this is so much fun. I've just written a book about teenage boys, and I got this question. I was like, oh yeah, we're going to have some. This is a great one. I love this one from Rose. What were you just thinking?
Oh, just that feeling of invincibility that most youth experience.
Yeah, especially teenage boys.
It will never happen to me.
Okay. So there's so many things that I want to talk about here. This is a really fun question. The first thing that came to mind as I listened to what Rose was saying was, I don't care, I'll be fine. Like, if there is ever a statement from a teenage boy that just captures the very heart of what we're up against, it's, I don't care, I'll be fine. I want you to be careful when you go to the party. I don't care, I'll be fine. I want you to be careful when you go surfing or down to the skate park. I don't care, Mum, I'll be fine. I'm really worried about this. I don't care, I'll be fine.
Take a jumper, you might get cold.
I don't care, I'll be fine. Like, this is just quintessential teenage boy responding. I want to talk about the developmental psychology realities around this. This is just such a sweet spot for where we find so much tension and conflict. Sweet spot, that's probably the wrong word. Because there's nothing sweet about it. And Rose, I mean, you can hear Rose's frustration. She's like, but I'm the mum and I know stuff and he's not listening to me. And we all struggle with this as parents. When you are a teenager and somebody talks to you, especially a teenage boy. So, quick step back. We know that teenage boys are much, much lower on impulse control and much, much higher on sensation seeking than teenage girls. Their age. In fact, at every age, boys seek sensations more than girls, and at every age, boys' impulse control is poorer than girls. So much so that Lawrence Steinberg, the world's leading adolescence researcher, did a study in, I think it was 2015, and found that the average 24-year-old boy has the same level of impulse control as the average 10-year-old girl. So that's just a little bit of developmental psychology background there. I'm so glad you think that's funny. I had fun writing about that in my book. But let's bring this, because with the whole Bluetooth and headphone thing, we're not really talking about sensation seeking and impulse control, but we are talking about this pig-headedness and I'm going to do it my way and I don't care, I'll be fine, which kind of, it's aligned with that mentality. And here's what's actually going on. Teenagers are really, really, really bad at understanding the future. Humans generally are bad at understanding the future. Like even when you talk to a 40 or a 50-year-old and you talk about the future, it can be hard. I don't know what's going to make me happy in 10 years' time. we were recently having a conversation with a finance guy about our retirement. And they were like, well, how do you want to live? What do you want your life to look like? What's going to make you happy in retirement? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what I want. Do I want to be close to the kids? I think so. Do I want to be near the beach? Maybe. How often do I want to travel? I don't know. Like, do I want routine? So we're really bad at predicting the future, but teenagers are worse at it than almost anybody. So when you say to a teenager, what's it going to be like when you're 50 and you can't hear anything? You know what they think?
It's not going to happen.
Well, number one, it's not going to happen. But number two, what's 50?
Yeah.
Like 50, that's you. I'm never going to be as old as you. You are so old.
So old.
I turned 50 last year, and I still remember when my dad turned 50, and I was just thinking, oh my goodness, I cannot comprehend being that age. And now I'm there, and I feel young and vibrant and vital.
I was going to say, do you feel like
not
50?
even awesome, but that's a different conversation. That's beside the point. The main point here is that kids can't comprehend. Teenagers are terrible, especially teenage boys, terrible at comprehending the future. And like the future to them is this weekend, if you're lucky. What do you want to do this weekend? I don't know. It's so far away. I can't imagine. Talking to a 14-year-old or a 15-year-old about what they want to do when they finish school, or being 24 and having finished university or a trade and being like 24. Oh my goodness, mind blowing. Can't wrap our head around that. 24 is old when you're 14
Imagine
or 15.
when you're married and you've got children.
Oh, no, can't do it. They just can't do it. So,
Yeah.
Rose, the first thing that I really want to emphasize is this.
Your son's normal?
Yeah. Pretty much. There are two other things that I just want to highlight. None of his friends are wearing headphones with cords. He feels like if he wears a headphone set with cords, he's going to look like a loser. And fundamentally, at this age, the promise of the reward in life vastly outweighs any potential risk. He will downplay risk. He doesn't care. He'll be fine because it's much more rewarding to do things his way. And you can do all your collaborative problem solving. You can do all of your 3 E's, explore, explain, empower, all those kinds of things. But ultimately, if he doesn't identify the value in what you're saying, he's never going to endorse it. And therefore, you're going to have conflict.
Which leads into kind of, I guess, where I land with this. He's 15. You literally have 3 more years before he's a fully fledged adult.
Sorry, reality check, Rose, just in case you weren't sure yet. 3 years or less, because he's already 15, 2.5 years, and he's an adult.
And at this stage of his life, he is actually starting to make some important decisions for himself.
Yeah, like wearing Bluetooth headphones.
There's a level of independence that he hasn't experienced before.
Yeah.
And so as we've experienced with each of our girls as they get to this stage, there is this real tension as a parent between I'm the parent and I know best, and actually you're becoming your own person and I actually need to take a step back and let you make some decisions.
What you're saying is pick your battles.
Yeah.
Right.
So ultimately, the most important thing, no matter what's going on in your life, is the relationship that you share with your child. And if we're so caught up in being right about, in this case, radiation and headphones, we lose valuable opportunities to connect with our child.
Rupturing the relationship is probably the most harmful thing that you can do, especially at this age. And I would argue that this is just a battle that's not worth fighting. I'm going to step into what I was able to find in my deep dive right after the break, plus one more really important insight that jumped out at me as I listened to Rose's message that I think is really the very core of my response to this one. We're back. This is the Happy Families Podcast. Thank you so much for choosing to be with us. If you find the podcast helpful, we'd love for you to share it with your friends. More listeners means we get to influence and help more families, like Rose from Brisbane, who's saying, what do I do about my 15-year-old who he's just not listening? Probably because he's got headphones in and they're turned up too loud and they're noise-cancelling headphones. Rose, here's some bad news for you. I want to validate your concern. I want to tell you you're right, and I want to tell you that as the adult in the room, you've got it all right. I did a lot of looking around, and basically what I found is in terms of Bluetooth radiation frying your son's brain, based on the weight of peer-reviewed evidence right now, while there are some, and I do need to acknowledge there are some studies that raise concerns, the I would say the overwhelming weight of evidence does not support the concern that Bluetooth radiation is frying your son's brain. I used to worry about that so much so that I bought a couple of pairs of corded headphones over the last few years, but I've stopped using them because they're just annoying. They're not practical, and the evidence, except on a few podcasts where you get a few people who have just, they've got big voices and they want to tell everybody about it, the picture is not completely settled. I will definitely say that. I think there are still more questions around it, and I understand the concern and caution, but the World Health Organization did a 2023 systematic review and concluded that there is no conclusive evidence at all linking exposure from consumer devices to either neurological or cognitive disease. They did note that there's not a lot of evidence on longitudinal effects, especially among younger populations, because they haven't been around for a long time. But overwhelmingly, the bottom line is your concern, Rose, on this is not irrational given the volume of online content about this, but the peer-reviewed research doesn't support this idea that your child is going to have any brain frying as a result of being on Bluetooth. I think that your son's going to be fine. My bigger concern, the one thing that I did find a lot of evidence for, is that you shouldn't be worried about radiation. You should be worried about volume. So kids listen to their headphones way too loud. And there was
and you're living proof that that's a problem.
Yeah, I was a radio announcer for the first decade of my working life. And before that, I used to listen to music very loud as a kid as well. And I'm now 50 years old and my hearing is not quite where it needs to be. I did have my hearing tested a few years ago and the guy just said that you needed to talk louder. There was nothing the matter with my hearing, which I thought was fabulous. Just one piece of evidence.
I think that he was just on your side.
One piece of evidence that
clearly was not reading the evidence in front of him.
Useful heroes. And I think that your son will actually listen to this. There was a data analysis published in BMJ Global Health. It concluded that more than 1 billion teens and young people are potentially at risk of hearing loss due to their use of headphones, earbuds, and attendance at loud music venues. The study found that unsafe listening practices are highly prevalent worldwide, with the global number of young people at risk of hearing loss estimated to be between 670 million and $1.35 billion. So it might be worth having a conversation with your son. Since he seems to be empathic and considerate and active and all those things that you highlighted, I'd be inclined to say, hey, you know what, kiddo? This is a fight that I'm clearly not going to win. We've been over this again and again and again. It's a source of tension between us, and I just don't want the tension. And while I'm still nervous about it, and I think the evidence is not clear cut, I get that I'm not going to win this fight, but I have a compromise for you. Could you just keep the volume low? And I reckon if you were to talk to him about hearing loss and the problems with having music too loud, and just tell him to Google around or do some chat GPTing on that, he'll find some stuff and he'll probably see the value in that request. He'll identify that it's useful. He'll endorse it and he'll get on board. I just think, take the win, Rose. At the risk of sounding a little bit dismissive, I promise you I don't mean to. Take the win. It sounds like he's just a great kid. He's engaging with you. He's having the conversations. He's hearing what you're saying.
He puts his phone away at 8 o'clock.
He's putting his phone away. Take the win. Anyway, we hope that's been a helpful conversation, and thank you so much for sending us your question. We love questions about literally any topic at all. We'll tackle it. We're up for it. Send your tricky questions via voice note to podcasts@happyfamilies.com.au or jump online to happyfamilies.com.au. Find the record button. It's a super simple system. Start talking and let us know what's on your mind. The Happy Families podcast is produced by Justin Rowland from Bridge Media. Mim Hammonds provides all of our research, admin, and additional support. And if you'd like more info to make your family happier, visit happyfamilies.com.au. Oh, and just over a month until the book launches. Boys comes out in just over a month. If you like the stuff that I talked about earlier about boys, there's that and so much more inside the book. It's available right now at booktopia.com.au, 27% off. They're going to be selling it for $37, but right now you can get it for $27 from booktopia.com.au. Jump online, pre-orders available now, and that will hopefully help your family be happier. See you tomorrow.